Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. We're going to start your day off with a bit of horror movie news. Now, this news actually dropped 24 hours ago. Had a bit of a busy day yesterday, but I'm going to cover it this morning before the shenanigans start today. Big busy day today. This is my last activity-filled day here in beautiful Seoul in South Korea. But some very interesting news has dropped, and it's actually made me very interested, very intrigued, and has given me hope. Mike Flanagan of The Haunting of Hill House fame, The House of Usher, and Haunting of Bly Manor, and many, many more, has apparently been set to write and direct a brand new Exorcist film after the abysmal box office return and critical reception of Exorcist Believer by David Gordon Green. And then David Gordon Green was going to go on to do Exorcist Deceiver and then eventually Golden Retriever, but he has pulled out. This is no longer happening at Blumhouse, so Mike Flanagan has apparently stepped in and is set to write and direct. Now, my first thoughts when I heard this, that makes total sense, and I'm very intrigued to see where this goes, because to me, I feel like Mike Flanagan will add a touch of class to the Exorcist franchise, and apparently he's going to be doing something a little bit different. Now, the article I'm going to be referencing comes from the good folks over at Bloody Disgusting, and they go on to say, it's official. Mike Flanagan is set to write, direct, and produce the next Exorcist film for Blumhouse and Universal. But don't expect a sequel to 2023's Exorcist Believer. Flanagan will offer a radical new take on The Exorcist. To reiterate, the new film will tell an all-new story set in the Exorcist universe, and it's not a sequel to David Gordon Green's The Exorcist Believer. Plans for that trilogy are no longer moving forward. Flanagan said in a statement, "The Exorcist is one of the reasons I became a filmmaker, and is an honor to have the chance to try something fresh, bold, and terrifying within its universe. Reuniting with my friends at Blumhouse, with whom I've made some of my favorite pieces of work, only makes this more exciting." Now, from what I can see, there's no release date or anything. Obviously, he still has to pen the script, but the fact that this is going to be something new, fresh, and exciting gives me hope. I think most of my gripes with Exorcist Believer was it just felt like they were trying to rehash what we started with in the original Exorcist, obviously it being a direct sequel, and we are now in that time of direct sequels. They definitely do make big bucks, but most times out of 10, they don't really bring in good critical reception. However, with Mike Flanagan, I feel like I said, he's going to add a touch of class. I've been one of those people for the longest time that always thought Mike Flanagan would do great reinvigorating the Elm Street franchise, whether it be a direct sequel or something completely new. Either him or the Duffer Brothers. I think that'd be great at tackling the Elm Street franchise. Hell, I'd even love to see the Duffer Brothers tackle the Exorcist franchise. But this gives me a lot of hope. Believer was pretty abysmal. Again, it just felt like nothing new was brought to the table, and they were relying on bringing a legacy character back in its legacy sequel, and that was kind of the selling point, much like how they brought Jamie Lee Curtis back as Laurie Strode in David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy, but that seemingly worked a lot more and was a lot more effective than what we saw in Believer. And if this is going to be something new, that is amazing. I think at the same time, you have to keep that mood and atmosphere, as Dave McRae would say, and those nuances that made the first Exorcist so effective and still effective to this day. But if you're going to be doing something new, I'm definitely all for it. Like a fresh take, a fresh story, fresh set of characters, but as long as you have that slow burn and not overly relying on gore and shock horror. It's about the characters and sometimes the real world tragedies that go on with these characters. I think that's what I love so much about the first Exorcist. It wasn't all blood, gore, and guts. To me, I think Flanagan's best work, in my opinion, is The Haunting of Hill House. Again, he nailed the nuance, he nailed the subtle horror, things that were in the background that you didn't notice in second time viewing, or when the camera pans back around, you see something in the background. That's what I would love for him to incorporate in this new Exorcist film. Stuff that really makes you think, really has your eyes on stalks, to see what's going on in every frame. Obviously, this being a new storyline, I'm happy in that case if the Reagan timeline and the Reagan story is done and dusted. Put it to bed. We were fine with the first film. That was great. But let's move on. Let's do something new. Let's do something different. But my dude, please incorporate what you made so special in Haunting of Hill House. Bly Manor, House of Usher actually wasn't too bad. There still are those nuances there, but I think, in my opinion, Haunting of Hill House just really nailed that subtle horror. And apparently he's working with Chris Stuckman now on Shelby Oaks, so That's pretty good. On you, Stucky. So with that being said, guys, please drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on Mike Flanagan set to write and direct a brand new Exorcist film, and what would you like to see this time around? Of course, I want to see a fresh cast of characters. I don't really want anything going back or tying back to Reagan. Let's just start fresh, whether we are still dealing with Pazuzu or a brand new entity that's going to be the threat. Love you guts, and I'll catch you in the next one.